starshine lights my way to bed. Magic rainbows glisten in my head. Just like a child, I live in Wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles used to hold me down. Now my feet don't even reach the ground.
I am starting a new kind of mini series of videos, and that's because I am starting my next pair of ginger jeans. My ginger jeans were the things I was most proud of last year because I never thought I'd be able to make jeans that fit well and that look, you know, pretty professional, and I did. I did purchase the Closet Case Patterns online video lessons, which were absolutely fantastic, and I learned loads and loads of techniques, and now I want to sew my second pair, which I'm hoping to get an even better finish on the second pair. But what I've decided to do is kind of film some of the steps as I go, so I can share that with you. So if you are thinking as well that your skill level isn't where it needs to be to make jeans, I hope that this mini series of videos changes your mind on that, because they really are not difficult at all. They are time consuming because there's lots and lots of different steps that you need to follow, but there's nothing overly difficult about them at all, and you learn so much from them from a fitting side of things. You may have seen my other video about my ginger jeans. I'll link it on a card if you've not seen that. You won't be able to see too much of them on here anyway, but it was quite a dark denim that I used last time. And I love the fit. The fit worked out really well, but my top stitching wasn't great. It took me a little bit of time to get a technique on making sure I've got even top stitching, so that's something that I really want to focus on this second pair. The denim that I am using is a lighter colour. I was trying to get even lighter than this, but this is the lightest that I could find really, and this is from Guthrie and Garney, and it was, I think, £12.95 a metre, and I purchased 1.5 metres. Now do bear in mind I am really short at 5'3", and I like my jeans to be kind of ankle grazer length, so I cut about 6.5 to 7 inches off the length of the pattern. So do make sure you follow whatever the guidelines are on the pattern for how much fabric that you need. But this is quite a classic denim blue, and it does have some spandex, so it's got a little bit of give in it, which you do need for the ginger jeans. It does say on the pattern that you need at least, I think it's 2% spandex, and this has got 3% spandex in it, so hopefully they will recover really well. That is the key thing with the spandex. You need that in it, so you don't, well, first of all, so you can wear them comfortably because they're a tight fitting jean, but secondly, so they don't end up sagging at the knees. You want a good quality denim, because otherwise it will stretch but it won't recover again, and that's when you kind of get saggy knees and saggy bottoms, and that's never a good look. I will head off and make a start on my jeans now. I'm not going to put this all in as one video in one go because it will just be too long. I'll break it up, as I say, over a series of videos. Okay, I will see you very soon. Okay, so I am going to make a start on tracing out the legs. So you can see what I've got here is my chalk wheel, which is made by Prim. I've got some pattern weights, which are just washers from a DIY shop, and I've got a quilting ruler, and this is just for me to make sure that I am straight on the grain. So what I will be doing here, you can see I'm working on a flat piece of fabric. I haven't got it folded in two, so I will cut out each leg individually, and this will help to stop with leg twist. And I am going to rotate the legs as well. So you can see here I'm cutting the legs first of all, the left and right leg with the pattern facing right side up, and I've got one leg with the waist end at that end of the fabric and the ankle here, and then the other one vice versa. The way that I am checking that the leg is on grain with the fabric is I'm using the quilting ruler, and I am butting the end of the ruler up to the selvage, and then I am just making sure that the grain arrow is on the straight, so I can see there it's running down that line on the ruler, so I know I've got the leg on grain. And then all I'm going to do is trace round the edge of the pattern piece with my prim chalk wheel. Okay, so the first leg is all traced now, so you can see there, hopefully, the yellow chalk line, and then I will use that to cut out. What I'm going to do now is make sure that the second leg is on grain. So I'm going to use the ruler again. Now I know this is on grain because I've already measured it, so what I'm going to do is butt the ruler up with that arrow, and then I'm going to make sure that this leg is also sitting on that straight grain line, which it isn't at the moment. So I'm just going to adjust that. As it is now, so it's sitting straight. You can just about see, I think, on the camera there on the edge, it's sitting on that line there. So I'm just going to put the pattern weights over here. And then I'm going to do the same and just trace around this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got my scissors and I'm going to cut out those legs just using the chalk line as my guide. Okay, so the first two leg pieces are cut out, so I'm just going to repeat it now for the other two legs, but what's really important is that you remember to flip your pattern piece, because otherwise you're going to end up with one half of each leg with the wrong side on the outside, which isn't going to be a good look. So what you would need to do as well, because you are working on the wrong side of the pattern, it's important that you put that grain line, you draw that on the other side of the pattern as well, because you're going to need to repeat the process where you make sure that it is on grain by using the ruler to match it to the selvage on the other side. So I'm just going to trace around these again with my chalk wheel and get those cut out, and I will see you again in a second. Okay, so now I've got all four legs cut out. What I'm going to do is use the pattern pieces to transfer the notches and any pattern markings that are on here. So let's just find this leg first of all. So all I'm going to do is lay the pattern piece on top and snip in any notches first of all, so I can see there's a notch there, so I'm just using my small scissors there's another one here. There's another one here. And that's it there. So I'm going to repeat that on all of the pattern pieces, get all the notches, and then the only other thing that I need to mark is the pivot point for the crotch. So I will either put a pin in and then go over it with chalk, or I could add a tailor's tack. And then on the back piece, you've got the notches, which I will cut in, but then you also have the pocket placement dots, which again I'll either mark with chalk or with a tailor's tack. So I will just get those done now. Okay, so before I start to cut out all the other pattern pieces, one thing that I do know from last time I made my ginger jeans is once I'd finished them and I tried them all on, even though I had done the measuring and stuff as I'd gone, I hadn't realised that I must have a sway back, and I ended up with a big gape in the back of the waistband. So I had to sew some darts into the finished jeans at the waistband so that they fitted correctly. So what I want to do before I start my second pair is adjust the waistband pattern piece accordingly, so that it should fit properly this time rather than me having to sew darts in. So it's really easy in which to do that. I did measure when I did make my amendments on my last pair. It was about 1 inch that I needed to take in at the waistband. So what I've got is the waistband pattern piece here, and I'm working on the curved edge, the inner edge, which is the edge that doesn't have the notches. And what I've done is I've cut 4 slits in the pattern piece, going close to the edge of the pattern piece that's got the notches on, but not cutting all the way. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to overlap those 1/4 of an inch each one. So you can use your tape measure to gauge it, but I kind of know approximately what 1/4 of an inch is anyway. And then I'm just going to put a bit of tape on. I'm going to do the next one. And the final one. And that's it. So what that has done, in effect, has made the waistband more curved, so it's got more of a prominent curve there, which will sit in my sway back and hopefully rectify the gaping problem that I had last time. And that's it. So I'll now get the rest of the pattern pieces cut out.
Just like a child, I live in wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles used to hold me down. Now my feet don't even reach the ground. Just like a prisoner when he's sentenced